The other side of the sword was, I guess when people are introduced to you as one thing, it's kind of hard for them to see you as that. So in a lot of people's eyes, I was like Ariana's songwriter. So I kind of had to like navigate from underneath that title alone, because as it was true, I also am an artist. So I guess it's like just working through the processes of people, reintroducing yourself to people in a new way.
What's up, Amazon Music family? I'm Gia Peppers, host of R&B Rotation Radio in DJ mode, and I am so honored to have Victoria Monét with me, Grammy Award nominated songwriter, singer, producer, and a whole vibe. She's bringing back the 70s.
Oh, thank you.
In this new Jaguar era, but I am so honored that you're here with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Girl, happy.
You look great.
Thank you. So do you. I tried to bring the 70s because that's the vibe of Jaguar.
And did.
And we brought our platforms.
You see it.
We were doing everything together. So no, but I'm so excited to talk to you because I have known you in my mind for so long. And I was actually there at your first listening when you were signed to Atlantic 10 years ago.
Really?
Yes, in New York.
I was like, I had a listening.
And it was like a album, like it was something, it might not have been a listening, but it was something where they were just like celebrating you might have just got signed or something like that. And I was like, this young woman is so dope.
This young woman.
Look at this little young woman. No, we're the same age. I don't know why I said that. But I just remember being like, okay, she's a star. And from then to now, watching your star rise has been so awesome. So I'm just so happy to see you today.
Thank you. I'm happy to see you too.
Yes. Okay, now let's start from the very beginning because I feel like we don't get a full...
How far back?
Like, who made you want to be a singer? Like, who was the first person you saw and was like, wait a minute, I can do this?
I think it was Michael.
Ooh.
Yeah, like I think I thought performer first before singer. His show was so magical. One of my uncles sent me on VHS. He sent me a tape.
That's okay.
He sent me a tape, and I played. It was a tape of Michael Jackson's tour. So I played it over and over and over. My mom said the tape stopped working, but I was just in my room, just trying to get the steps down, and like the sparkles and all of the elements of performance made me feel like, that's what I want to do.
I love that. So then you start going to dance school. You start figuring that out, and then I heard you at some point ask your mother to change your address so you could go to a performing arts school.
Yeah.
Tell me about this version of Victoria Monét.
Well, okay, so it started in junior high, and my junior high didn't have a dance program. So I asked my principal if we could start one, and she was like, if you get the staff to do it and if you get a sponsor, all right, figure it out. Okay. So I wrote Coca-Cola. I asked them, and I found the staff to do it because I was going to a program called Boys and Girls Club.
Yes.
So I asked those teachers to come to my school and be the staff. I became a teacher then for the students, and I became the founder of this drill team at my school. And so I was scheduled to go to this, you know how certain junior highs have their high school that they're connected to? I was scheduled to go to a high school that had no dance program. I was like, not again.
Not now.
Yeah, we need the dance program.
We really do.
And we need performing arts. So Sheldon High School is a performing arts school, and they also did like units so that you can get more units per year than at a regular school because they did like a block schedule. So I was like, Mom, you see, I can get dance and performance, but I could also get more credits for college. Yes. But we don't live in the area, so we had to use someone from church's address. But also I earned a best friend from that too, because the girl that lived in the house of the address that I use is also one of my best friends. So
shout out to you, bestie.
Yes, we love you, Lindsay.
Yes, Lindsay. Thank you for letting her use your address because it worked out. It worked out.
It did. It did. It was the best ever because it led to other relationships that I had. Like there was a teacher that came in to teach our class for dance, and his name was Phil Tyag, and he was a part of the Jabberwockies. And so from there, I found out that he had
the Jabberwockies, like the MTV certain thing, that era.
Yes, the Jabberwockies. But it was before. That was before MTV. Before they went on the show.
Okay.
So they had that and a group called Boogie Monsters that was no masks, but I could be a part of it. So in addition to going to a dance school, I used to be in rehearsals from like 8 to 1 a.m. And that got me kicked out of my house. But
hey, it all makes sense in the long run.
Yes, it's all for the greater good, Mom.
Yeah, Mom. Okay, MySpace. Huh? Wow. Okay. You was on the MySpaces.
I was on MySpace.
And then you told Rodney to be your friend, and it worked out? Rodney Jerkins?
Yes, I was, when I was creating my profile on MySpace, I was around musicians and producer that was like, you should be a ghostwriter. And I was like, huh? What is a ghostwriter? And so, and it's funny because he called it a ghostwriter, but I don't think people really call it that. So I just started doing my research on like who wrote what and what songs I like and what producers I like that produce certain things. So I was just adding, I was like Timberland, Pharrell, Rodney, like all my favorite stuff. And then maybe a week or two later, I got a DM from Rodney's page saying, come audition for this girl group. I was like, look, run it. Look at God.
Look at God.
So I auditioned for the girl group, and then from that audition, I made it into a group, and he had us move 2 weeks later.
Wow.
So my life completely changed. Overnight, just like that.
So that wasn't your first time in a studio. You were already working. So what was your first time in a studio? Like, what was your...
Ever?
Yes. How old were you? What was the vibe? Who invited you? Tell me all of it.
Yes. Well, I want to say I was like 17.
Wow.
And my mom, she started realizing that I'm on this pursuit of artistry. And I was like, Mom, but I don't know anybody like who's producers. And I know like local people that I would work with or like who made beats and things. Yeah. And she found me. A friend of a friend played bass for Janet at one point. And I was like, yeah, I want to meet this person. Right. And so for some reason, he played 3 beats. And he was like, I'm going to be nice to you and I'm going to give you one to write to. I was like, okay. So I took that beat and I sat in front of a lake in my car and I wrote it from top to bottom and then paid to get in the studio to record it, did the harmonies and everything. And it's a song called Give Me All You Got. And that was my first studio experience. And I was just in love. From then on.
Okay. All right. Victoria, I love this story so much because it sounds like your mom may have taken some convincing. She did, have a problem with the dance studios.
Right.
But when she finally came around, it was
she helped out.
Right. You and her, how much does it mean now, but especially then to have her support you?
Oh, it's my favorite. She's actually feels more like a sister than a mom. She was a young mom and a cool mom. She was always dancing around the house and like just in on all the young lingo and like she's that kind of mom. But then also, I guess she maybe changed a little bit because growing up she was very strict. She was like, you can't go to nobody's house. You need to be in this house at a certain time. But then she got fun. Maybe when I got out the house, more fun. But it means everything to me. And I've seen so much of her now that I have a child and respecting her so much more because I was like, I didn't realize how taxing it is to do both, like provide and also entertain me and make sure I'm safe and fed and all of the things. So I think we've gotten even closer now that I have a baby, and also she'd be coming down to see the baby more.
I heard that's how they be. Like once you had a baby, they're like, who?
Right.
Who are you?
Exactly.
No, I want to see my grandchild.
Literally.
Yes, that's how it is with her and Hazel.
On FaceTime, she's like, where's Hazel? I'm like, hi, Mom.
Don't worry about it. I don't want to see you. Where's my granddaughter? No, we're going to get into Hazel because that's my favorite person to follow on TikTok. Now you finally get in the studio, you get the Rodney call up. Things don't work out with that label and that group, which is fine.
Yeah.
It worked out.
Yeah.
But was that your first major heartbreak in this industry? And did that lead you to pushing your pen more? Tell me about that transitionary time. What you were experiencing then.
I definitely was. It was my biggest heartbreak because we had signed to Motown.
Right.
And I was listening to Motown and it was some of my favorite music and it was a memory of me and my grandma. My grandma had passed away the year that I moved to LA, like a couple months before, 2009.
Sorry.
And thank you. And she would have been so proud that I signed to Motown. And so for that not to work out, I was like, oh, I failed. I felt like I don't want to have to move back home. I made this big announcement that I signed out of Sacramento, and then I have to kind of renege it and tell people like, oh, you got Trump. It's kind of hard, but I think it was so necessary because that's why I learned studio. Like, I got to see so many songwriters come in and out of there. I worked so closely with LaShawn Daniels.
Oh, my gosh. Another
like,
legend.
This is why I know how to vocal produce. It's why I know how to stack certain things, because he kind of, like, trained us to do so. We worked on so many songs that are unreleased as a group with him, but I felt like I got jumped in and with the greatest, some of the greatest of all time. So I felt so sad and like depressed, but now I'm like, this is my foundation and it's the best thing to ever happen, because I just didn't know it would lead me here, you know?
I mean, the fact that you got to work with someone that big out the gate. Like, child, your story is literal evidence that, like, God has a plan.
Yes.
Like,
you don't, and you might not know it, but yeah.
Yes. Like from the MySpace, from the dance studio, the Jabberwockies, from and we ain't even halfway through, child. But I know we only have a little bit of time, so we're not going to get to every single part. But you release albums in between here and now that are incredible. But during that time, you also are a songwriter.
Yes.
And you learn how to write for other people. What did writing for others teach you about how you wanted to be an artist? Did you learn what to do, what not to do? And if so, like, what were some of those things?
Yes, I definitely, one, being in rap sessions, I learned what not to do. Because rappers are, I'm not going to speak for all rappers, but sometimes they're just under the influence or feeling themselves, and they may not be as nice to, like, the engineer as I would have liked to see, you know, and I'm not necessarily speaking about rappers that I worked with that have music out with, so don't try to come for me, but I have been in sessions where it's like, dang, like that wasn't really
nice.
like that. And I'm that kind of person too, like if I'm at a restaurant and you're mean to the waitress, I don't, why? You know what I'm saying?
Woman after my own heart. That will make me leave a date, so I'll be like,
really?
Mentally, I'm no longer there.
Like,
one of my girlfriends has called me. Now I have to leave. Oh my goodness,
like,
it's an emergency. I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't
suddenly, and I'm not leaving my slipper because,
like, I have my friends on dial just in case I be like, oop, a mess. Please call me. Like, because that is just a base level kindness that I think a lot of people don't have, but especially in the industry, because when so many people tell you yes, you
get
probably
tuned to, like, this is my world, when it's not.
Yeah.
Like, and I always say, like, don't make the engineer mad. You're going to take the auto-tune off on you. Okay?
You will sound a horrible mess.
You know how much you need this person? And, like, so there I kind of feel like, etiquette-wise, I was like, let me never be that person, ever, ever, ever. As far as work ethic and, like, being open to collaborators and, like, you know, just learning other people's language and communication. I feel like seeing so many sessions with artists, I learned how to do that for myself too. I think even touring with artists, I'm like, oh my God, like this was really cool of them. Or like, you know, how to maintain a certain level of sanity in the midst of so much chaos. I'm like, okay, they can do it and my life is not as chaotic, so I can do it. It's kind of like really inspiring. So there's a few things I've picked up along the way.
I think there's so much power in being able to observe before you are given the spotlight.
Oh, yeah.
I was at a talk yesterday, and Susan Kelechi Watson from This Is Us, played Beth, she's everything. She was talking about how, like, when people would look at her at first, like when the show first came out, people were like, oh, she's cute, but like, we're not going to give her a whole monologue. She ends up being like one of the major characters of the show. But she was talking about how when you're covered in the dark, per se, you can make mistakes. People aren't looking at you as hard. You can do things, you can figure it out. To be ready for the light.
Right.
What has been the biggest thing that, like, you know for a fact prepared you for this moment when people might not have looked at you like, oh, you know, she's cute, but she's a songwriter.
Right.
Like, what do you think would have prepared you for this moment? What do you think is that biggest lesson?
Wow, that's so crazy, because I was just thinking about that the other day not the other day, but about a month ago, I did my first headlining show. Oh, right.
She showed you.
Yes, I had the time of my life, but it made me think about all of the times I had to go on a tour. I opened for Fifth Harmony, and then I also opened for Ariana on our world tour. So there was lots of dates, zero budget, right? So I had to pay my way to do the tour. But I also, when I got on stage, we were doing arenas and it was literally just me. I had no band, no dancers, it was just like that. So I think that having those moments on that stage really trained me and prepared me for people who didn't know and didn't care about the music. There's no distraction. So I have a 30-minute set and I have to like win people over slowly, just standing alone. And it made me face myself. It's like, all right, Madison Square Garden, go. And so I feel like now that I have, I had a show that was just for people to come see me, but I had a band and I had a fan and I had dancers and I had, it felt like, oh my God, if I could do that, I could do this. And I got to kind of get the kinks out a little bit before people cared enough specifically for me, So I think I had some good rehearsal.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good rehearsal stage when you have Madison Square Garden, you know?
Yes.
Like you're starting from, again, it's like God has put you in these positions and you like going, you going from MySpace to studios with Rodney Jerkins. Like,
they said, go girl.
Like, just go and do it. And I think that's so great that you get to do that. But that is a hard thing. People don't realize how hard it is you have a fan base that's not even there to see you. Right. And you have to entertain them. Not that they didn't know who you were. Because Ariana, I thought, was very good at being like, this is my best friend.
Yes.
This is my ace, Victoria Monét. Yes. She wrote all those songs you like.
Right.
Like, so what was that support like? Talking, especially now that you're in your full Jaguar era, like how has your relationship changed, but how has her fan base like really been there for you as well?
It's really been super special to me. I think that it's very easy for an artist to, I guess, they don't have to show love. Like you already did your job, so scram, you know what I mean? She could have been like, all right, you wrote the song, but she like really embraced me, and obviously our friendship helped that, but she wants to see everyone around her win. And she's really good at bringing people to the forefront and being like, this is who did this, and credit. So that was a huge thing for me, and also for her to bring me on tour so early when no one else had to give any, it's just a really big testament to her personality and how she supports the people that she loves, and who love her. The other side of the sword was, I guess when people are introduced to you as one thing, it's kind of hard for them to see you as that. So in a lot of people's eyes, I was like Ariana's songwriter. So I kind of had to like navigate from underneath that title alone, because as it was true, I also am an artist. So I guess it's like just working through the processes of people, reintroducing yourself to people in a new way, so...
Ooh, the way you are speaking to my soul right now, because like we're the same age. You're 30.
I identify as a 21-year-old.
She's 22.
Thank you very much.
And I'm 22.
Yes.
But I've been doing this for 10 years as well.
Yes,
I started when I was 12 years old. And I still have to reintroduce myself so much. And then sometimes I'll be like, yo, I've done so much work. Please.
Yeah.
Does it ever get frustrating to the point where, like, because you've won I've been nominated for Grammys. You've worked with everyone. Does it get frustrating to have to be like, hey, I really do this?
Yeah. You know what? I feel like it's a challenge. It's a mission. And I think I look at it the same way as when I moved to LA.
Yeah.
Or when I wanted to pursue the dance team in 7th or 8th grade, or when I had to, it's just like another speed bump that you have to get over. But the grand scheme is like, I'm looking towards the light and I'm going to keep shooting through it, like no matter what you bring at me. It's either I die first or I make it first. It's like,
whatever one.
Yeah, whatever comes first, but I'm not going to stop. And so I think it's just another one of those things you just got to work through. Keep your head up and stay focused on what the important thing is, and it really comes down to being happy. Like, are you doing what you love to do? Are you able to provide by doing so? You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Be thankful.
We love that.
Yeah, be thankful. So
I think that's a beautiful thing. I think your perspective on how to just continue to show up is just a testament to the fact that if you really believe in yourself, no one's going to be able to make you stop.
No, it's just what you do.
That's just what you do.
It's like you just exist that way. Like, you can't change my skin color. It's just who I am. And so that's how I feel about music, making music, and like artistry and dancing and singing, expressing myself that way. It's just like, you're going to get what you're going to get, you know?
I love that. You're going to get what you're going to get. And I know we're fast forwarding through several EPs.
Yes.
But I really want to get to this Jaguar era because, my goodness, did you roar, honey? You've been roaring since you put that out. And you put it out, the first one, in a pandemic.
Yes. Yeah.
Which most people would be like, no, I'm going to wait.
Yeah,
but we had already been waiting for so long. We were like, no, please give the kids what we need. We've been asking.
Yes.
So what was your feeling about putting out Jaguar in that time? What was going through your mind, that initial Jaguar release?
I was really scared, to be honest. I was like, I battled with the fact that I didn't address any of the pandemic at all. I'm like, well, was this too insensitive for what everyone's going through to just pretend like it didn't happen and just like put out a happy project about sexuality and all of those things. So my team and I kind of went back and forth on it, and we were just like, yeah. Although we did move the date once because Beyonce was coming. We were like, we'll put it out next week. But beyond that, I think that it was the right choice because people needed the escape from what was reality. And I do the same thing when I'm wanting to watch a movie or something. I'm not going to watch exactly what's going on. I'm going to watch a comedy because I want to laugh and escape it.
Yes.
So I think Jaguar Part 1 was that for a lot of people. And so I'm glad we made the decision to put it out. I also think it helped people have the attention span and the time to digest it.
Yes.
Because without that, it would have been 5,000 other albums coming at you and people would have been outside. And so it's a blessing that we decided to pursue it.
Yes. And I saw originally watching that short film about the 70s era.
Yeah.
That's the first time we saw you. You were working behind a bar. And and then you walked through looked like an apartment building, a hotel, I don't know what.
Yeah.
You had your suitcase, you were driving and your car stops. And then you walk into this field and you transform into this panther.
Yes.
I'll be like, cheetah, panther.
Yes.
What did that symbolize? What did that transition from girl walking down the street, kind of lost, to a roaring panther symbolize for you?
I feel like it really replicates my journey, but in a short form. There's been so many challenges whether it be, just certain things not working out and left turns randomly and things you have to like adjust and make work. So in that film, I felt like all of the hard things led me to a certain place in a location where I could have the ability to transform. And so in retrospect, everything happened for a reason. It doesn't feel like that in the moment, of course, but when you look back, you're like, if I didn't do that, I wouldn't have met this person, or it's all of these connecting things, and it's just like, it makes a lot of sense when the story is done,
When the story is done. And it ain't done yet. And there is something so beautiful about, like, seeing someone become themselves and walk in who they are. And, I know you tweeted that you were bisexual at that time. You were like, I'm free. I'm here. Y'all gonna have to deal with it. And but I think people were embracing of that and you and your time during that whole transitionary moment to this Victoria Monet that we see now.
Yeah.
What is the biggest difference now that we are entering a second part? What's the biggest difference? Do you feel like you answered your own call to roar fully? Like, do you feel like you've become the Jaguar that the album maybe called for?
Yes, I do. I think, there's so many parts of me that feel more secure now. I used to be so, like, I would just tiptoe. I'm like, maybe we should. It was always like an unsure thing, and then an apology afterwards. But I feel like I'm more unapologetic. I'm just like, I said what I said. This is how I feel, and I'm just being honest. And I feel like that's gotten me so much further than the delicate, tiptoeing around in a politically correct Victoria. I just want to be authentically myself. And so, like a flower that's kind of unfolded, like, here I am. This feels so much better and so much lighter and so much easier because I don't have to think about the plan. It's just exist.
Yeah.
So.
And I think when you look at that, the plan, it just exists. The freedom part of it is clearly here with you now, which I think is really dope. And I know it took a lot of self-work to get there. But the 70s is an interesting era to like want to live in. And that's where Jaguar essentially is.
Yes.
So what about the 70s and that time is the reason why you're like, okay, this is where I'm living.
Yes.
Y'all come with me.
Yes. Well, I feel like it's more so about the music because I know in Black history, it's not the best time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There were some definitely progressive moments in there, and but as far as music, I feel like we had so much to say and so much control, and that's how we expressed ourselves with live music, with real instrumentation. And so I think that's a part of our blood and who we are as Black people. And I think there's some inventions in there, like some genre inventions. So if I listen to 90s music, early 2000s music, there's always some samples from the 70s, 60s, those eras. And I think about who my idols were inspired by as well. Like if I think about B, I'm like maybe Tina Turner, which was before her. So like kind of thinking of the root of it all. I just really admired the music that was made and how feel good and Black it was. You know what I mean? And it was pop also because it was popular and it was on charts like number ones, but it was soul, So I find myself really admiring the sessions with live musicians in them. And so just wanted to incorporate that, but also mix our modern day lingo and authenticity and like a little bit more forward as women now. So that lyric on top of the bed of live music
really matters. Yeah. Yes. I think that there is something so dope about watching the 70s and how it inspired all these songs that in those sounds, Earth, Wind, and Fire. I mean, like they weren't just there through when we learned about them when our parents were listening. Right. They were having whole new eras in the 70s, which I think is really dope. So I want to get to this part because I was stalking your Twitter. And on September 21st, 2022, in response to a fan, to Alicia Sierra, you said that you always wanted to headline, but you'd be winded after your 30-minute set. But you were aware that your future is bright, and you just did your first headlining at the El Rey. You were not winded.
I was not winded.
You were prepared and beautiful. Every clip went viral. What does this moment, what did that moment, when you walked off stage that night, what did it feel like? Were you floating? Did someone have to bring you down to earth?
It felt like weed.
It felt like smile.
I felt high.
Wow.
I was just like, this feels so surreal and so much. I guess when you are in any space and people feel happy and people feel celebratory and supportive, it feels so good. But then also when it's directed at you specifically, you're like, oh my God, like I feel amazing. Yes. And also because I think that I like to think of life sometimes as a arrow. Like someone that pulls you back, the further it pulls you back, you like, whew. And so I've had so much pull. Now I'm like, oh, like this feels so free. I'm flying. I'm an arrow flying into the sun, So it felt really, really good. And I'm just like, I want to do that again. We need
to make that happen immediately because it was the dancing, it was the costuming, it was the hair, it was the stage, it was the people who were screaming your name.
Oh my God.
Like,
I love
as a person who started on
convincing people, I was like, please scream, say something, hands up high.
Anyone. Yeah. And now you're like, hello. And they're like, yeah.
Oh, it's the best. Yeah. It's just a great turn of events.
I'm so excited because this Jaguar era is literally just beginning. I heard it's a trilogy.
Well,
is it going to be a trilogy?
It will not anymore because I did not intend for 3 years to pass in between 1 and 2. But that did happen. And so now I think Jaguar 2 will be it. And I do want to do a deluxe. But part 3, I think I kind of want to, switch it up.
That's okay. A lot has happened in these last 3 years. Yeah. You became a mom.
Yes.
How has your motherhood impacted your music?
Oh my gosh. She's so inspiring. It kind of low-key makes me want to make cleaner songs because now she's singing smoke, but she says snow.
Oh, well,
right now.
We won't know.
Yeah, I mean, but it's also one time we went to Porto's and we were listening to Smoke in the car. When I put her in the stroller, she goes, Mommy, can we go smoke? I was like, I was like, no, you can't say it. She said, go smoke. I was like, she means listen to a song called Smoke. We do not smoke together. It's so
Please
crazy.
don't call me, please.
Like, literally, could get me in trouble.
Yes.
So now I'm like, maybe I need to make like kids songs or like do songs with her that like, you know, like Gracie's Corner vibes, you know?
Please,
something.
and you can call it Snow because and it could be a winter release.
Yes, it's gonna be a
Oh my goodness. Okay, all right. So last
Every
question.
time it snows, yes, I love it.
Yes, we need that. We're gonna put that out. I can't wait. Hazel featuring Mommy.
Yes, right, exactly.
The streets are saying on Twitter, the Twitter streets are tweeting that they would love to see you on tour with a certain queen whose name is Beyonce.
You know what?
What do you think about those tweets?
I would love to see it too, but also I'll just be at the show otherwise and supporting the queen. You know, she's my queen too. One of my biggest inspirations. And I'll just sing her songs in the audience with her, you know, and celebrate Renaissance. I am completely happy doing that as well. And I'll have a headlining tour coming after the project. So, yeah, but I appreciate the tweets.
Yes.
It really means a lot to me because, you know, the Beehive is...
We tough.
Yeah.
You got the approval.
We got thick skin. So it really means a lot to me that that's even a thing that people think. Yeah. But, yeah, I'll be at the show.
We're going to be there. We're going to see y'all there. Now, wait. Now I got to ask you, as we wrap up, to say, what do you want to say to your fans who've been supporting you since you were doing Life After Love and all the things? What do you have to say to your fans as
You guys, thank you so much. I know the journey has been long and hard with lots of space in between, but I just really appreciate your support and everything you do to make or let other people know about me. I see your tweets and you guys are like the street team tweeting away on the trending tweets and like spreading the word. And it just means to me that you see more for me than I have right now, which is always to be thankful for. So I love you and thank you so much. And I hope to see you on the tour.
We will be there with our camera phones out.
With our camera phones out.
We love you so much, Victoria Monét. Aww. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure you are streaming the Lucky Day feature, Smoke.
Yes.
If not, go stream Coastin'. I mean, there's so many projects. Moment. There's so many singles you can stream, but of course that Jaguar one is out right now.
Yes.
So make sure you go stream Jaguar.
Please.
And look out for those tickets by following Victoria Monét.
Yes.
We'll see y'all next time. Bye, everybody. For more exclusive artist interviews, check out DJ Mode on Amazon Music, including my station, R&B Rotation Radio, where we bring you the stories behind your favorite R&B music.